Hello everyone, welcome to Believers IS Academy. So in this video, we'll take up a very important topic. You might be very much familiar. It's a new age technology of income generation that could be our cryptocurrencies. So cryptocurrencies is a very newer technologies and a very newer developing from the obscurity. It has got its prevalence and the income value is also tremendously increasing from year to year, day by day. So what is this cryptocurrencies status in India? Why are this tussle between the our private banks or our banks and the RBI regarding this cryptocurrencies issue? So let's have a very complete explainer about what is this RBI's information, what is RBI trying to tell the banks about the cryptocurrencies, and how cryptocurrency could be a next income generation to a common man, to students, incoming their passive incomes, generation of money, whole lot money. Is it a legal tender? Or we'll have some dilemmas. Due to the invention of such cryptocurrencies, bitcoins, digital money, will the fiat money, will the actual money, solid money fades away? Everybody will have such kind of dilemmas in their mind. Actually, when we look at the newer trends, it is relying that we are digitalizing. That doesn't mean that fiat money goes away. So we have to have this analysis on ourselves by knowing what is this cryptocurrencies and how this could be done, could not be done as a legal tender also. So this is how my discussion for the entire video will be lined up. So for further informations and for further videos, foundational course details and short informations on UPSC current affairs, you can like, subscribe to our YouTube channel Believers IS Academy and get a complete information about how UPSC examination could be cracked by the guidance and how you could really be a winner in your first attempt. So this is how, that's it. So let us jump into the video very fast and look at this new topic, that is cryptocurrency. So structure of my discussion goes by, what is this? First of all, we'll go through this RBI's clarification on cryptocurrency. What has RBI clarified correctly? That is, it has mandated all the banks about this cryptocurrency handling policies, and then what is its mandate about? And these three important topics, interesting topics. That is, what are the ways out for a common man? For example, you're a common man and you wanted to invest your extra money somewhere in an issue or somewhere in a point of cryptocurrency. How is that possible? How can a students like us, could earn passive income by investing in Bitcoin? And will cryptocurrencies replace the fiat money? Is what we have to gonna give the conclusion. So this is my structure of the discussion for the further video. So first of all, I want to tell you, if you want to know what is this cryptocurrency or the virtual currencies, what is the actual meaning of this cryptocurrency and virtual currencies, the way they are propagated amongst the youth and how amongst the different computers, different coins. So how is this happening? The anonymous websites, the anonymous alphabetical orders, everything is detailedly explained in my previous video called as Bitcoin cryptocurrency by Aishwarya. So you can have a look at this video and understand first what is cryptocurrency. So when you know what is cryptocurrency, you'll come to know, you'll understand the circular by RBI, why it is helpful for us. So let's move on. So just get the basic from my video and then you can shift to this video. So the RBI's clarification, as I told you, my first topic for the discussion could be what is RBI's clarification. So this was the notification. It's a snapshot from the notification of RBI's clarification after State Bank of India and HDFC Bank, SBI and HDFC Bank started cautioning their customers against the dealing in virtual currency such as Bitcoin, citing the example of April 2018 order of RBI, where RBI banned such and told that cryptocurrencies could not be a legal tender also. So having references with April 2018's order of RBI, SBI and HDFC Bank started cautioning, sending SMSs to all its customers regarding the investments in cryptocurrency. So this was the clarification and this was the issue by the private banks. So this was the notification also. And so the banks also want the customers, they also want that failure to adhering to these processes, like cutting down their interest from the cryptocurrency, will lead to suspension of their cards also. And RBI has no option but allow, after the Supreme Court lifted the banking ban last year, that is 2020. So in 2020, Supreme Court made an order regarding the opening of the ban on this cryptocurrencies in the banking sector. So the RBI intervened and asked the banks to stop being notorious regarding or taking the references of this 2018 order, because it becomes a very extreme issue when you tell the suspension of cards, because we are all in a lockdown condition and we have invested our money, we have invested our trust in something, and you can't come and just caution us regarding suspension or anything. So the trust on the banking systems will also go away. So to avoid that trust differences, RBI came in and told that Supreme Court's intervention of 2020's order should be kept in mind, and this kind of notorious activities should be stopped by all the banks. So this was the proper circulation driven by RBIs to all the banks around it regarding the cryptocurrencies. So, so what are the banks expected to do now? What they have to do now? So it is simple. They can adhere to the due diligence process. Diligence process could be uh, processed as how it was going before. Then governing standards of know your customers, KYC. So they can adhere to, they can have the checks, they can have the checks and balances at any times. So KYCs, anti-money laundering, combating finance of terrorism, and prevention of money laundering, 2002, ensuring compliances with relevant provisions under FEMA of the overseas remittances by RBI. So all this process, which it used to give a obstacle or a barrier between the wrongs and the rights, could be done by the banks now. So there is no ban on this FEMA, anti-money laundering acts or anything. So this due diligence process could take place as it was going on. But in other words, bank cannot take action against investors in virtual currency following the codes and the RBI directives. So bank as its own cannot take any steps against the investors in virtual currency. So for example, if I'm investing $1 or $2 in virtual currencies through SBI account or SBI, whatever means it might be, so banks doesn't have any right to instigate me or to stop me from investing in virtual currencies. So this was the clarification and the mandate done by RBIs and the court directives. So they have to follow the 2028 orders of SE, the Supreme Court, regarding the virtual balances, where the ban on the banking restricting the customers to invest in virtual currencies was cut down. So these are what banks can do now. What are the ways out for a common man to invest in Bitcoin? So these are our interesting topics now. So you people have to think. So what are the ways? Do you think a common man investing in such virtual currencies is cost benefit or risk oriented? So it is a 50-50 answer, because I'll tell you, we have to be ready for the risk, then ready for the success. So that is how this digital transactions, digital monies happen, because the ways this market operates, it's highly technical. Unless you're a developer or a software savvy, or you are well balanced with the stocks and balanced with hacking or the market avidly. So if you are into this market avidly and potential scam is high. For example, I'll give an example of Amit Bharadwaj. Amit Bharadwaj was the person who promised 10% monthly returns on bitcoins and fled to countries with rupees 2000 crores of investors' money. So this is how people are. See, the Bitcoin transactions are associated with frauds, mainly associated with frauds. But if you're a savvy who knows that how to come away from these frauds and make the profits, will be a good option when you're a clever investor. But when you're not aware of the risk oriented with such investments, then it could be a default loss. So that is how common man, before investing into some things like bitcoins, have a note, have a complete research on it, and then move on or then jump into the conclusion. So then, and some innovations factor huge returns. There are huge return far in excess for other classes also. And a nascent stage of industries, common man will not be able to discern between the frauds and the genuine investors. So this is a very big problem, and as I specified in my beginning itself, it's a 50-50 answer. We don't know what is fraud. For example, there are very much of trust issues with us. When we go to a small vegetable vendor, we are in a dilemma. Is it fresh? Is the fruits fresh or not? See, when we take so much of care in choosing the apples or choosing the vegetables, but choosing a Bitcoin investment becomes a whole lot thing for us. So it is very difficult for a common man who is earning a little penny to differentiate between frauds and who are the genuine investors. So this is a very major thing which can put you into dilemma. Then government of India has only said Bitcoin is not a legal tender. So I'll give a good example for this. So which it is not in many developed countries like UK, Europe, China. So keep it in mind, in UK, Europe and China, Bitcoins are considered as a legal currency. That means what is this legal tender? What is this legal tender? I'll give you an example. For example, you go to a shop and you give 10 rupees to get a cucumber or a coriander. So you give 10 rupees and you're getting back the product for that. So what is your legal tender there? Rupees 10 note, 10 rupee note. A 10 rupee note is a legal tender. That is how you cannot give a single bitcoins. You can't give a 10 bitcoins to get any product out of it. It is not that you can give 10 bitcoins and get a coriander out of it. So it is just the transactions oriented for different means and different purposes. For example, your net bankings or your net internet transactions in a mall, or you're paying for some overseas transactions. So that could be done through bitcoins, not your daily routine or your debts. Your debts or the daily transaction between these two persons doesn't happen, and that is known as legal tender. So Bitcoin is not a legal tender in India. For some countries like UK, Europe and China, this is a legal tender. So it is being not legal tender doesn't mean that it is illegal in India. It doesn't mean that it is illegal in India. Investors can invest on it, but you should be aware of being choosing differentiating between this is fraud and this is the genuine investors and a genuine platform to invest my things. So this was the information how a common man could invest in. So your answer is a common man should be in a position, should go through all the research work, all the research practices, and then come to a conclusion who is the genuine investor. Then you can actually jump into this virtual currencies. Then how can students earn passive income by investing? So what is this passive income? That is less time consuming, and no energy loss. So you work a day, you make some money. So it is not like that. You sit somewhere, you invest somewhere, and the money already gets risen up. So that will be the passive income which we all wanted. you all are the desire for also. So there are several means like mining, lending cryptos, stacking tokens, investments, dividends. So all these are the best ways of making a passive incomes through cryptocurrencies. But we are not educated much on it. So there are a knowledge gap. There are knowledge gaps and risk based risk bakes risk bakes elements. So that is why these are helpful. But if you can improvise your knowledge on them, it will be a good option to invest your monies. Then, so earning passive incomes through cryptocurrency is something everyone could achieve, as I told you. If you are long-term investors, there are income generating. If you are short-term and temporary, there are risk-based. And it helps to research anytime you want to try to a new way or find out opportunities which matches your time. Okay, so these are the cautions. These are the, what do you say, postulates for you to get the passive money and then help for yourself also. So we have come to the conclusion, and the last important thing which we have to discuss here is, will cryptocurrencies replace fiat currency? Are these currencies able to replace our hardcore money? Let us see. No. The answer is total no. So we can get an example from our economy itself, because we are a mixed kind of economy where capitalist economy and socialist economy go hand in hand, and we are called as a mixed economy. So where we have private investments also and the government investments also. So this is how the cryptocurrencies are irreversible trend and a worldwide phenomena. We know that. So mass adoption of anything takes many decades. So try to give this points in your conclusion for the cryptocurrencies, and a old system will coexist with the new. As I told you, capitalism and socialism were the older concepts, but we are going in a coexistence, and population adopts to the technology. Then, in order for the currencies to have a mass adoption or a broad appeal, they must meet a few criteria such as unit of value, medium of exchange, and store of value. So this 3 points helps us to know about the production elements. And then while gold can be a good unit of value and a gold store, it's not a good medium of exchange because it's not easily available. So that is why we are telling everything goes in a coexistence manner. We can't outrightly tell that cryptocurrencies will replace of all the fiat currencies. No, we have very much technical knowledge. We have n number of knowledge gaps. So that is how we can tell that fiat monies and cryptocurrencies will go coexist with them. So while US dollar is a good unit and these are the points you can include. So entire cryptocurrencies class suffer too much volatility and so infinitely divisible as compared to gold. And if you can only withdraw limited cash every day, you would not you would want to ration part and many payments as much as possible, higher payments. So that is how you can use the bitcoins transactions. so so that is my conclusion. So conclusion is that we can't ever totally replace fiat currencies, but cryptocurrencies as a newer edge technologies could be included for the n number of payments. And so that is how RBI's new circulations on the cryptocurrency puts a pause to all the banks to adhere to the 2020 order of Supreme Court and does not restrict any consumer or any customer investing in virtual currencies. This was a clarification, a proper clarification given by RBI regarding the cryptocurrencies. I hope you got some insights of it, how cryptocurrencies are taken in India. Even though it's not a legal tender, it's not illegal in India. So have that point in mind. And we cannot replace fiat money. So these are the 5 important points which to be noted here. So for further information, you can call upon this number 911 9611 for further information. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Telegram, and avail all the free materials, and our website. You'll get all the daily current affairs available. So have a great look on it. So this is how Believers IS Academy is helping every aspirants to achieve their goals with daily practice, daily consistent preparation towards the UPSC examination. So I wish you all the best. And I wait for further current affairs videos regarding these issues and the important discussion between the government and the people, and how we could take the excerpts from this kind of issues and include in our main answers. So this is the main agenda or the main goal of a UPSC aspirant should be. So that is how, and thank you for all. Welcome.